You are not angry, you're hurt. Hello and welcome back. We've been talking about anger for the last couple of videos. We've talked about what happens when anger shows up. We've talked about righteous anger. We've talked about anger that lingers and refuses to leave, right? And honestly, I don't know how long we're going to stay on this topic, because the more we talk about it, the more we realize there is a lot beneath the surface that needs to be talked about. And today I want us to go a little deeper, right? Because not all anger starts as anger. Not all anger starts as anger. Sometimes you are not angry, you're just hurt. You're hurt. Something happened. Something was said. Something was done. Or perhaps something that should have happened never did. And it left a mark. But instead of dealing with the hurt, we respond with anger, right? Because anger feels stronger. Anger feels safer than saying, that hurt me. So we raise our voice. We become defensive. We shut down. We pull away. And we call it anger. But if we're honest, it's not just anger. It's disappointment. It's the rejection. It's the betrayal. The feeling of being unseen. It's feeling unheard. It's pain that has really never been processed. And because it hasn't been processed, it continues to speak. It speaks louder in anger. It speaks in the shutdown. It speaks in the pushback. It speaks in the loneliness. It speaks in the distance. It speaks in the silent treatment. It speaks in the walls we build around our hearts. And sometimes we don't even realize it. We think we've moved on. We think we're over it. We think we've healed. But healing is not pretending the one never existed. Healing begins when we acknowledge what happened. Because we know we cannot truly heal until we acknowledge the hurt and the pain. What is hidden cannot be healed. What is denied cannot be surrendered. And what is ignored often continues to control us from the shadows. So the first step toward healing is honesty. Honesty with yourself. Honesty with God. Honesty about what happened. Honesty about how deeply it affected you. Because God cannot heal the wound you're pretending isn't there. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Notice what the scripture says. Guard your heart with all diligence. Why? Because everything flows from it. Your words, your reactions, your attitudes, your relationships, your responses, they all flow from the condition of your heart. So if anger keeps coming out, guess what? It may be revealing that something deeper is still sitting inside. Something that still needs to be brought before God. That needs to be surrendered. Something that needs healing. So the next time you feel anger rising, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I really angry or am I hurt? Because if you're honest, in one of our previous videos, we talk about how we say we are okay until that thing is mentioned. And suddenly, the anger shows up again. The tone changes. The emotions rise. The hurt resurfaces. And in that moment, we realize we may not be healed as we thought. that isn't condemnation. It's revelation. God is showing us where healing is still needed. Because healing doesn't begin when you react. Healing begins when you recognize what's really there. Healing begins when you stop hiding the wound. Healing begins when you bring the hurt into the light. And healing begins when you allow God to touch the places you try to protect. So today, don't just examine your anger. Examine your heart. Because sometimes you are not angry. You're hurt. I'll leave you with that thought. Until next time, God bless you.